a couple things I want to tell you is in the book, they'll have an angle with the arc, this arc already put in there. So use their arcs. That being said, if you have a worksheet, you're going to have to make the arc. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I mean. Ethan.
I'm just wondering, in the next couple of days, not later in the year, but in the next couple of days, while we're still working at the compasses exactly, is there going to be some room for error if it slips or something during test?
Not a lot of room for error, but there will be an error. There will be some allowance, and so the general rule would be like a pencil thickness. So you want sharp pencils all the time, but there shouldn't be a lot of error. So that's why we really want to have a good compass. And if you're finding that the compass isn't working well, you can address that individually. Tonight there might be more error because you're just beginning. Okay. So in the book, if they ask you to copy angle A, they already have an arc there. If they didn't have an arc, you would have to put the arc in, but they don't want you to draw in the book. So you would put an arc in, and it doesn't matter where the arc is, they put it in for you though, so you're going to use that same arc. Now you'll see on my compass, it's not always precise as you can be because of the pixels on my screen. There's some limitation, okay? But I'm going to open up my compass to that opening, and I could trace over this, but you are not going to do that to the book. I'm just showing you that there's a reason they have that arc there. If you didn't have it, you would have to do it yourself. And then you would use that same opening, and you would pick a point, and you would label that point A prime, for example. I just changed the color. And so I'm picking like that as my starting point, and I'm going to make the same size arc down here because I'm trying to copy it. Okay? And what you're going to see is on your work, arcs are going to overlap other arcs, and lines are going to overlap other lines. You're going to have to just be comfortable with that. Like some of you don't like when things overlap, but it just might happen, and that's okay. That arc now, I put this point X here because anytime you like have an intersection point, we can start over here. Basically, once you make an intersection, like these two intersection points, the whole point is you would use something that you created. So you're going to use those intersection points. You're going to figure out how wide that angle is by now putting your compass at one intersection point and opening it and seeing how wide it is to get to the other intersection point. And again, my compass won't snap precisely, but yours will because it doesn't have pixels. So that's how wide that angle is. Does that make sense? And it wouldn't matter if you had the pin over there. It's still the same width. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take this point here, and I'm going to call it like X, that intersection point. That corresponds to this X, so I'm going to call it X prime. So if you look, I have X and A on the top, and X prime and A prime on the bottom. I'm going to put my pin, since my pin was on the X here, I'm going to put it on the X prime here. And then I'm going to make a new arc. And that new arc where the green and blue intersect is where I'm going to put my straight edge and draw my line through, and I've just copied the angle. You're going to use a straight edge, but that really complicates the smartboard. It gets a little overloaded, so what I use is a straight line, a nice thin straight line. You're going to use, I'll go back to this so you can see, you're going to use a straight edge, like a ruler, but not for measurement. And I'm going to put my straight edge from my A because my angle starts at A. It has to go through that intersection point. And that didn't work. There we go. Try again. Start at A and go through that intersection point. So I copied it. It should be the same size. We get that? And then to add angles, you just copy an angle, on top of another angle. So if I wanted to add angle A plus angle B, this was causing a little bit of overload on the smartboard, and then just cut it. If I asked you to do angle A to angle B, well, you've already made angle A, so we can just continue on this problem. I can now add to this right here, angle B to the right. Does that make sense? I would just go through the copying process one more time. So I'm going to take my compass, and I'm going to, the book usually puts the arcs in at the same width. So in other words, this measure usually is the same distance away. It aligns with the blue. Let me get rid of that pink so you can see what I'm doing. So it should be the same arc. And this is where the compass is not very cooperative. So let me, there we go. I have to start it up here. That's the problem with the compass is it won't let me do what I really want to do, so I have to start it down here. There we go. Should be the same. So the book sets you up with a nice, so to minimize your arc, the amount of arcs that you use. So I match that arc, and now I'm going to measure the opening of it by putting my pin in one spot, and then coming over here and just getting the other spot. So that's the opening. So I have to, basically, my pin, if I put like this to be point Y, this corresponds to right here, Y prime. Can you see that? So I want to move my compass to the exact same spot, and then I'll swing a new arc right here, and where those two intersect, I'm going to take a line, my straight edge, and go right through there, and I've copied angle A plus angle B. So this whole angle in here, that's angle A plus angle B. Does that help? Make it thicker? This whole angle in here, that's angle A plus angle B. That's your job, is to use copying angles tonight and copying segments. I will post this